Hey there, today you are going to learn my ultimate carry-on packing secrets. We're going to play Tetris with our packing organization tips. As a pilot's wife, I've had to pack in only carry-on luggage for over 23 years, so I have some really good tips and tricks to help you almost double the amount of things that you can take with these little tweaks. In the game of Tetris, you always start with the foundation. So that's what we're going to start with in our carry-on luggage. Travel tip number one is the roll versus folding method hybrid. Here's what I do. I fit all of my clothes in one side of the carry-on suitcase, and then all of my other travel-sized essentials are going to fit in the other side. You fold your clothes or roll them in compression cubes because that takes out all of the air between the clothing. And here's what else I do. With extra items, I might fold those extra clothes, especially the ones that have structure, like some joggers or your jeans, for instance, because they're bulky as well. And those would be packed, folded on top of a cube. That item can smush since it's on top when I fold everything, when I close my suitcase. Now we're going to make cylindrical shapes by rolling, especially those fragile yet tough fabrics like cashmere. This I have to show you, it may be sold out, or you can tap on the little code for shopping it. It looks like a sweatshirt, but it's a thin, very effective in retaining your body temperature heat, and it also protects the cashmere fabric if you roll it. And remember, you do not have to roll it that way. You can also roll it lengthwise. I just fold it lengthwise and then I start rolling. Look how much thinner that is. And I would mold that into the suitcase's boundaries or the walls or the corners of the suitcase. We're creating flat layers on this side, like little Tetris pieces fitting together, all making one flat foundation. Here's the simple part of this packing tip. You are going to change directions. If your rolled item or folded item does not fit that way, change it to a vertical size or stand it up against the boundary of your suitcase, if that helps. Like I mentioned, rolling something lengthwise instead of the short way. Tip number two is the handle gap advantage. The handle gap is a secret slot that many travelers forget about. It is that space between the handles of your suitcase that go down when the handle is down. What I always do is I fit similarly shaped items between those handles. Rectangular shapes, you can fit socks in there. This is a wooden Christmas ornament that's a little packaged. I have this pouch. One end is a wire bar and the other side is squishy. So you're just rearranging in that slot and you're taking advantage of that extra space, but we're also making a flat wall or a flat foundation on which to pack everything else. I have also folded a really thin merino wool t-shirt and packed it in between there too. This is an important, often missed area that gives you a clear line for your board or your Tetris game. Now for category two, we are ready for the shoe optimization, where we're going to utilize dead space. Shoes take up most of the space, especially in carry-on luggage, because they're oddly shaped. So we're going to use that to our advantage. I have rugged sole, tennis shoe, water-resistant boots. Love these. Tap that if you need some. They are so soft around here. I can mix and match or change directions, like the classic travel tip for packing shoes. You match their shapes. That would be travel tip 3, the upside down flip. So we're going to turn the shoe upside down and pack them like that. When you have odd shaped items, a critical packing tip is that you do not have to keep them together. This shoe bag that comes in the set of compression cubes, like I showed you on the other side, it is large enough to hold both of my shoes, and I'm going to start with those on top of those items that I packed in between the handles of the suitcase. I can pack those together and have space to zip this flap over the shoes. Tip number 4 would be the split and edge travel tip. And that means split your shoes, like I mentioned. One of my tennis shoes can fit in this little cube tube that's part of the set, and I can pack that anywhere I have room, or I can use this advantage for packing. I'm going to use the squishy side of the shoe and make that mold against the handles between that come down in my suitcase. I can smush them, and that way the top of my section of my carry-on suitcase, I will have that flat and I can smush it down. They will naturally smush down because I'm using that part of the shoes. There are two spaces that you may want to pack your shoes in. Number one, against the suitcase walls or the boundaries. Or two, alternating where you are packing them in a different direction or different section of that part of the suitcase, instead of creating a large bulky square of your shoes, like these boots made. But I have the space, so I'm going to keep these together. Category 3 is for liquid and toiletry hacks. This section is going to focus on fitting essential but oddly shaped accessories into your carry-on luggage. If you are part of the Travel Tips by Laurie community here on YouTube or Instagram, you know my travel hack that I learned after about 10 years of having to pack a liquids bag in my carry-on suitcase. Pack your TSA approved bottles of liquid going horizontally, and you can fit more in your liquids bag. You may have to pack your liquids bag in your personal item, or now that not many major airports are making passengers pull out their liquids bag, try just putting it in your suitcase. Okay, travel tip number 6 is if you have a folding dock kit or hanging toiletry kit, my tip is do not fold it until after you see if laying it flat will help you fit more in your suitcase. It's now flat instead of a 3D object. So we're saving that extra amount of height that the boxy shape would have made by packing it flat. Tip number 7 is my secrets to packing in those tiny spaces of your carry-on luggage. These small travel essentials are your single square Tetris pieces that you now have to fit to make it move on up the level in the game of packing. I have a hat. Where can I put a hat? A great place to pack a hat like this little baseball hat is in the corner, okay? Or use the bill of your hat if it's really curved to put that in the corner because it can still mush and squish. Who remembers that saying? Okay, then I've got this little item, which is what I used for when I had to pack for several weeks of pills. It has a little divider, but I took the divider out and I have this new little Amazon travel find, which is a little bitty deodorant stick. Is that not so cute? And then you just flap that back down and I just pack it in there. The cucumber is my favorite smell, but it is pretty strong. So I keep it in a little case. You can pack it in a little sandwich bag too. But this little object is going to slide in between my cubes maybe, or in between at the bottom of my suitcase in that extra space between the wheels of my level 8 fantastic carry-on luggage. I also have this beauty that I took to Greece with me. It is pretty deep, but it's just beautiful and it holds like 8 cocktail rings. It held some of my color beaded necklaces for the trip, and it's just super smooth, and you just roll it in between some of your essentials once you've packed them. We're finding tiny pockets of space that our tiny travel essentials have to be in but can fit between. And then my little strong but tiny travel size umbrella, I can pack it up here in the corner, I can pack it around the boundary somewhere, or right under here in that edge of the suitcase. And I always have to have my curling iron. So one thing that I notice is you'll notice that the curling iron pokes out right here. I do not have that against the wall of the suitcase. I twist it up so that my curling iron can be exactly streamlined against the edge of my suitcase and make extra space for me to pack. This is one of the best belts because it does not protrude from your body, and when you have it buckled, this handle does not flap out ever. And it looks really nice if you need a belt that can be casual or nice, but you can just make your belt be packed around the perimeter of your suitcase before you pack everything or after you've packed everything. All right, those are my ultimate secret packing tips that you can now apply on your next trip. Let me know about your little travel hacks or travel tips for packing and only carry-on luggage below. And thank you so much for your time. I'll have a freebie for you in the ... more paragraph below this video. That's where you'll also find every link. The ... more paragraph starts right under this video, but it's much easier if you can tap on the shopping sticker that pops up in the bottom left corner. All right, have fun.